أهلا بكم أعزائي المشاهدين ومرحبا في هذه الحلقة من القصة الأسبوعية مع حلا. طبعا معنا كالعادة حلا. أهلا،
أهلا
كيفك؟
بكم. كويسة الحمد لله.
إيش القصة اللي اخترتيها اليوم؟
القصة اسمها Angelo by David Macaulay. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's a very, very good story about friendships.
Okay, so you can take it.
Thank you. Excuse me for one moment. As Angelo cleared away the tangle of sticks and feathers left along the ledges of the old church by generations of thoughtless pigeons, he peered into every nook and cranny looking for cracks. They would have all have to be repaired before he could apply a new coat of stucco. At first he mistook her for just another abandoned nest. What's this? He moved in for a closer look. She was small, barely breathing. What are you doing here? He tried coaxing her with the end of his broom. Come on, you can't stay here. I have work to do. But she did stay there, so he worked around her. The her is a little pigeon he found in one of the cracks right here. At the end of the day, he scooped the helpless creature up in his hat and set off home, hoping to find someplace to leave her along the way. He was still carrying her when he reached his own front door. Okay, just one night, he grumbled, but you sleep on the terrace. When he noticed a large cat cleaning its paws on a nearby roof, he brought her back to the apartment. Mamma mia, I restore walls, not pigeons. He continued complaining as he made her bed. In spite of the demands of his work, not to mention his professional dislike for pigeons, Angelo soon found himself devoting all his spare time for her recovery. When she was strong enough, he started taking her to work. On sunny weekends, he drove her out to the countryside to recuperate among the ancient ruins and majestic pines. Angelo loved his work. With wet plaster and a few simple tools, he had spent his whole life making crumbling walls smooth again and bringing even the most weathered pieces of sculpture back to life. She was just beginning her career in the performing arts as an actress in one of her most popular pizzas. Piazzas are like groups of pigeons, that's what it's called. Piazzas. From time to time, she would stop by and watch Angelo work. After a few months, she realized that he was slowing down. It was taking him longer to mix the stucco, and he seemed to be resting more often. One afternoon, she paid him a visit. The old man looked tired and worried at first. He didn't recognize her. Then she cooed. Hey, is that you, Bird? I suppose you want your lunch back, eh? She cooed again. Well, I'll tell you, I don't know whether this wall is getting bigger or I'm getting smaller, but I'm starting to wonder if I'll ever see it finished. Shaking his head, he picked up a small brush and went back to cleaning between the toes of an evangelist. She stayed back with him for the rest of the afternoon to coo encouragement, so he worked around her. She showed up again the following day and every day after that to help. As the temperature rose, she fanned him with her wings. When he looked particularly weary, she carried his handkerchief to a nearby fountain and soaked it in the cool water. From time to time, Angela would interrupt his work to explain some of the finer points of his craft. At lunchtime, she and a few friends provided entertainment. The longer Angelo sat and rested, the better he would work in the afternoons. Also, the more crumbs he dropped. Even with her help, however, there still didn't seem to be enough hours in the day. Before long, they were working right through lunch. Fortunately, they had their weekends to rest. One Saturday, while heading up to the countryside, Angelo made an announcement. My friend, it is time you had a name, and I have been giving the matter considerable thought. Since I found you on a Wednesday, I have decided to call you Wednesday. Merocheldi, he said slowly and proudly. His suggestion was greeted with absolute silence. Okay, how about Sylvia? That evening, Sylvia happily pecked her pasta. Angelo spoke at great length of his life, his career, and his hope that his church would be crowning achievement. Week after week, month after month, the pair toiled side by side. The heat of summer gradually gave way to the cool winds of autumn, and ultimately to the chill of winter. Some days were just too cold for mixing succo. After more than 2 years of grueling work, the end was at last in sight. But so too was another winter, and Angela was now moving very slowly. In order to finish before the cold weather returned, they gave up their much-loved visits to the countryside. It was a warm November afternoon when Angela finally applied the last coat of stucco to the chair-ups in the high pediment. With a single confident stroke of the trowel, his work was at last complete. To Sylvia's surprise, however, he now seemed more worried than ever. At dinner that evening, she did everything she could to cheer him up. But the harder she tried, the more he just stared at the linguine. Finally, after a long silence, he spoke. Plasterers don't live forever, you know. This place has become your home. Wherever you'll go when I'm gone, how will I know you're safe? He continued staring at his linguine until suddenly, of course, that's it. He grabbed his hat and a coat and a flashlight. Wait there, Sylvia. The sun was just beginning to rise when Angela eventually returned. He was exhausted and looked older than ever. But as they fell into their favorite chair, she saw that for the first time in months he was happy. That afternoon, workers began removing the scaffolding from the front of the church. When Angelo didn't show up to see his work revealed, the men knew something was wrong. They found him lying on his bed surrounded by a tangle
أوكي. صار في مشكلة من جهة حلا، البث عندها قطع. ف هيها بركي حلا جربي تطلعي وتدخلي مرة تانية. كيفكم اليوم؟ اللي عنده قصة نفسه يسمعها بتنقرأ من عنا يحطها في الكومنتس. أجيب بيض أقعد ألقف ولا؟
Hello. I'm really sorry the phone cut. Someone called, but I left off at when Angelo didn't show up to see his work revealed, the men knew something was wrong. They found him lying on his bed surrounded by a tangle of sticks and feathers. The day Angelo was carried into the church, every detail of the old building looked like new. Only one of them truly was. Far above the street and between the cherubs sat a perfect single-family nest. To make sure that it would never be swept away, Angelo had shaped every stick and every feather from Sylvia's new home, made out of stucco. From it she could easily see beyond the rooftops and domes of city to the distant countryside with its ancient tombs and majestic pines. Many years later, when the church once again required some attention, a pair of young plasterers came upon Angelo's beautiful nest. It was still in perfect condition. In the nest were a few feathers and what appeared to be the remains of an old hat. Neither plasterer touched a thing. And that's the end of the story.
شكرا جدا على هاي القصة. هل كان في إلك أنتي إشي صار هيك مع حيوانات فرضا؟
There was this one time where we found a pigeon in the backyard of our old house, and we actually took it inside, and it was also, it also had a broken wing, as it claims in this story, and we actually had her as a pet for like a few months or so. So this story is like, I have a connection to the story. I really liked it once I read it.
Nice. For me, there was a cat that I also found outside. and its mom abandoned it. So we kind of just brought it in and kind of like gave it some food. So yeah, animals are nice.
Yeah, I used to live back in Saudi Arabia, and there so many cats showed up randomly in our backyards.
Yeah.
There was once a big litter of kittens, and once just this huge black cat who came every single day. We named her Shadow. So many encounters with stray animals, but I mean, I like cats and basically any animal. I'm an animal person.
Yeah, cats are better than dogs. Anyone who said that is just, yeah. Cats are better. Nice. Thank you, and I hope to see you again next week.
Same with you. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but this was a fun story.
شكرا أعزائي المشاهدين، ونراكم في الحلقة القادمة.